Hey everybody, this is Own Goal bringing you an OP meta build tech. This is going to be a really overpowered level 1 strategy right now, which is like a Slaanesh infantry and mobility build. Uh, we're going to be watching a game from a show match played on Saturday between me and my teammate Sharks. Very high level player. Turin streamed this whole thing. Recommend you go watch it. It's a pretty cool stream. And what we're trying to illustrate is just some of the really strong strategies right now and why they're strong. This one is basically just that Slaanesh has good infantry, good cav, and good army abilities. Everything is good. And we're doing this in a competitive format where Seekers are banned. This is even more messed up if you use that unit. Feel free to do it in the multiplayer queues. But we're not using those. And it doesn't make a huge difference. The other cavalry is still extremely OP. And for this strategy, you want to take basically any of the Slaanesh infantry. It's all good. And any of the melee cav other than Chaos Knights, it's also all good. And you can do this pretty much as is against almost anything. It's really strong. And mostly you want to like set up so that you have a good surround and then dive on them and you'll probably win. We've got the Exalted Keeper. This is a pretty good basic lord using Pavane, which is our engage spell, and then it's got this AoE rampage, and then just some good abilities, you know, the Mortis, lore passive, and this heal is essential. It's kind of a fragile glass cannon type unit, so you want to put pressure on them with your other things, and then dive in. And for this strategy, you can kind of do like a hammer and anvil, where you attack them on the front line and then bring in cav around the sides. You can also try to get like an isolated cav pick with your lord and your good cavalry. So I've found one of the best ways you can play it, and that's what we're going to do this game, is to pincer. So you split up your forces and you kind of match your cavalry to a weak point and get a nice surround, and then you dive whichever side is weaker first, and then you dive the other one. That's a slightly advanced tactic, but it's not so hard to do. You can also just do a big surround, like get your infantry in a concave, put it in a holding position, try not to get shot. So like if they push on one side, back up. If they retreat on the other, back forward. And then once you've got a good amount of troops in cav, just go squish them. It's all good though, because Slaanesh is really OP. So right now what I'm doing is just holding a little bit of space, getting some points, trying to set up the surround while I summon in some more units. Jarix is pushing forward. We don't actually really want to engage that much because we're out of position. A good engage involves your stuff diving on the units that it's good against. So like the Forsaken get on their ranged, and your cavalry that's anti-large, the Hellstriders, get on theirs. Hellstriders are really strong right now. This unit's crazy. When it dies, it comes back, and it already has this ability charged up, so the second summon's even better. And the first summon is already quite good. They just have strong stats. They're fast. They have all these Slaanesh bonuses. So right now we're seeing his formation is a little bit flat. So, you know, he doesn't have a lot of stuff pointed on the sides, and he's little cav light. So we're going to be trying to set up on the sides and then dive one of the weak sides while not getting engaged on. We're setting up. Chark sees what we're doing. He backs up. He wants to take the fight closer to his spawn. And now we've got most of our infantry out, so we're just waiting for this infantry to get in position, since we want most of our army present when we fight, and then we're going to dive him. And you really could just trade out this Slaanesh infantry for any of the Marauders or Chaos Warriors. The Forsaken are probably the best of the litter on just like a general basis, so you can't really go wrong with a bunch of Hellstriders and Seekers and Forsaken and one of the strong lords. And it's more about just positioning and getting a good engage and some isolated cav picks and some rear charges. He's got these two big SE centerpieces, so we want to be wary of that. It can duel our lord. We're trying to set up a situation where our infantry fights and 1v1s his infantry and out trades, and our cav gets to pick off his cav, and he doesn't get to assassinate our lord. And this mitigates a lot of the effectiveness of his big centerpieces. So setting up, waiting for our infantry and cav. Now we're about go time. And we've chosen, quick pause, Charix has a lot of his forces concentrated here by gold value. Like he's got his centerpieces, he's got his stuff in position, his calves over there. So we choose to go in on the left side first, where we have a advantage locally. And then he reacts to that by pulling over his expensive stuff, and that's our signal to send in the other side. Now he's about balance, so we want to just go in with everything at the same time. We lead on a bait with the big expensive thing to pull stuff out, so he's not like charging his cav into our vulnerable infantry on the approach. And then, we get some decent damage on his lord. I'll just fast forward for a second. When you can, getting like a charge on an unbraced unit is pretty good with cav. So you see there, we just chunked like a third of his health on this unit. You don't always want to stay and fight, but these ones don't have anti-large, so it's fine. And we have to be a little careful of our lord. It's got healing, but he's getting some good damage on it, so we'll probably get out of there in a second. And you can see the rest of the fight is going decently. We're getting stuff on his ranged units. There's a big fight over here where he's doing well, but otherwise we're kind of just rolling everything because we have Slaanesh. And that's kind of the gist of it. Like, most games are decided on your initial dive. Like, we hit his infantry, we got his cav. He doesn't have a ton left. We've got control of the battlefield. His only play here really is to like try to pick our lord. So you can do peels like that. Like, this unit is not a melee unit, but it has mass, so we send it into melee with his lord to body block for our thing, since his only out is to kill it. And you can kind of see while this is going on, he's doing like his whole chase on us. We're just running around everywhere else, crushing all the things. And he's got more gold than his SEs, so as long as he doesn't get like a good SE duel, we're totally fine. Infantry goes on infantry. Cav tries to rear charge stuff, like right there. That's kind of it. Mix and match as you want. Slaanesh is really good. And this is without Seekers. They might get nerfed next patch, so this thing perhaps has a shelf life, we'll see. But it's a lot of fun, and it's actually a pretty good way to train your general cav tactics. The faction rewards taking a lot of cavalry, microing it well, getting 2v1s, getting rear charges. And so that was just a total blowout and pretty illustrative of how strong this faction is. So our lord got chased around, didn't do that much, but that's okay because the units are good. All the Forsaken did great. The Fiends did well, the high DPS mass unit. The cavalry just was fantastic. Still had some health, got decent damage, and more importantly, it's ready to come back again. And we essentially out-traded him across the curve and won by a lot. So that's that's level 1 Slaanesh. Very strong. Recommend you try it out. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe if you like this kind of content.